Hi, welcome to Cherie's weight loss journey. Oh wow, I was talking about junk removal, and there's a sign has been planted in my neighborhood that says "Stand up, guys, junk removal." Yeah, that's nice. I'm telling you, synchronicities be blowing me away. Oh, so anyway, and I know one of the things that I have been talking about is, you know, it's okay to be a junk removal type of guy or girl, right? But don't charge people like you're actually moving them. That's that would be insane to do that, right? Because moving really takes a lot of care, but junk removal does not. Anywho, I didn't have a lot of junk to throw away, but oh, golly, look at this little BMW that is an electrical car. It's so cute. Look at it. See? Look at that. They're charging it. You can see the cord. And there it is. It is a cute little BMW. It's really small. It's like a I don't know. I guess it's just small. Shoot. Or at least it just looks small. But then, sometimes small things, it's just compact. It's not small, right? It just utilizes the space to the best efficiency possible. It didn't look like it had a back door. It looked like it had like, like the back seat, like trucks. You know how trucks would have, a side door that would open up. That's what it looked like it had. So yeah. Um, I uh, I really, I have really enjoyed learning how to. Dang, I forgot my bags. I really enjoyed learning how to edit yesterday. Well, I didn't quite learn how to edit, but I did play around with some of the free CapCut features of editing, and yeah. So, you know, I was sitting up there trying to figure out how come, my gallery doesn't have the ability to do most of those same functions. You would think it would, but then I guess that's what a Photoshop app would do. So it is 7 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't charge my smartwatch. But it doesn't take long to charge up once I put it on charge. Can you believe we're almost in tourist season? Yes. But we're not taking nothing away from Aries season. I love Aries season. Come on. So, I don't know, something inside of me keeps wanting to just take a few days and go on a trip. I don't know why. That little voice in myself that says, "Oh, why don't you check?" This is this was what was going on while I was trying to go to sleep last night, and it was saying, "Why don't you find out where you can go for little to nothing, right?" And then what came up on my algorithm was, "Oh, Southwest has flights for $49." And I was like, "Yeah, but does Southwest have a round trip flight for $100 to Mexico for 4 days and back?" Right? Now, we just got over spring break here in America. So Mexico is definitely, probably feeling the absence if there were people that showed up to go to Mexico for spring break. Right? So, whew, this cooler air feels so good, along with the wind. Oh my gosh, it feels good, right? Because I know later on it's going to get into the 80s. So, I just feel like I should enjoy this cooler morning weather while I have the chance. And then, my Snippy baby, she can also enjoy taking a walk while the weather is cooler. Because I was thinking about just getting on the treadmill, right? And I put my shoes on. And she was so still, I was like, "Ooh, is she alive?" But as soon as I put on my shoes, she was up at my feet talking about, "Oh, are we going for a walk? Or where are you going? You going to take me with you?" And I was like, okay. Instead of doing the treadmill thing, we'll go out and take a walk. If there's some light outside, and of course there's light out here, and so here we are, right, waking up like we early birds. So I believe this weekend is Easter weekend. Yeah, I think it is. This Sunday. Hmm. So Easter is bringing in tourist season. For sure. For sure. Hmm. Man, I would love to see if I could put some solar panels on my house. Well, first I got to put a roof on there. uh, but yeah, these homes here, they look like they're a single story, but a lot of them are what they call a story, a story and a half. Don't be telling that story, because it's a story and a half. uh, yeah. Oh wow. See, that's what I was talking about. How you can you can just about put, yeah, you can pretty much put uh your whole furniture out here, and the city of Garland will haul that stuff away for you, as long as it's something that comes out of your house. And yeah, people pick through this stuff like, is there anything that I can use? Ooh. It looks like they got rid of that stuff out their garage. So, so this morning I woke up to a video called Your Invisible Power. And this one was giving techniques on how to interface with God and your God power. Yes. And it could take like 5 minutes of meditation, and then a minute of contemplation. And I was like, oh, that sounds easy. That sounds really easy. Okay? But again, what I didn't like is when they talk on subjects like this, and they always put it in the form of a man. Well, a man this and a man that, and I'm like, yeah, but man comes from a woman, you know, and if it applies to both, why are you guys not saying, well, as human beings, or as a spirit, or, right? Why do you make it seem like, you know, you just got a lazy mouth, and you're like, well, we're saying man, but it applies to both. Because it applies to both, you can still say Man and woman. See how simple that was? So I can't really tell if it's going to be cloudy today because the clouds are again, you know, in that misty kind of non-forming cloud residue shape. And you know, like you can't really identify it even as clouds because they're formless, right? How do you have clouds that are formless in the sky? How? How? You know? Come on. So, yeah. This house looks so nice. It's so manicured. I like it. I like it a lot. The grass is nicely edged. It's been cut nice and even. It just got a really clean look to it. But I've learned my lesson not to get a corner house. Corner houses have way too much responsibility. Way too much responsibility. I was thinking that I wanted to get rid of those metal containers that is in that trash can. But I would have to find some kind of box or something to put it in before they'll actually really pick it up. Pick it up. Okay. Oh, look. There's a box. Somebody done bought them an electric mower. All right. Let me see. Oh, I think theirs is a wireless. That's nice. Yeah, that's nice. A wireless electric mower. So yeah. I'll have to see if I really want to get out and do some work today. Because I don't know. I've been out of it as far as when it comes to working. You know, even door dashing and Uber, you know, the way things are set up, you know, and people doing multiple orders, and you know, I was watching I was watching this one lady, and she was like, today she's gonna make $300. I'm like, what? And so she got out early, and then her first order, and I don't know how you really call it order, but they gathered up like 22 different drop-offs for her to do. And I was like, oh, I didn't know they were doing it that way. Where, wow. You just pick up 22 orders and deliver them, right? And she was doing that through, oh yeah, Walmart Sparks. I'm like, Walmart Sparks? Oh. I didn't know Walmart, had their own delivery service, even though I know that they, delivered. I didn't know it was a setup very similar to doing Uber, because when she doesn't, see any Walmart orders that she likes, she'll switch over and do Uber Eats and DoorDash, right? So that was something I didn't understand. Are they separate companies or are they not separate companies? So I don't know if that's what I want to do today, is get out there. Because I was like, well, see what it's like early in the morning. Because a lot of these people, they're not doing it early in the morning because they are making sure to get their kids off to school, a lot of them. But a lot of these delivery people are women. And they're also doing like Amazon Flex. They got 5-6 jobs. And they're also trying to do YouTube to make extra money. Right? Because even if you can make an extra $500 a month, just doing YouTube, that's something. And even if you don't get it all of the time, that's something. But there's always, a beautiful chance, to have a video go viral, right? If you have a video go viral, you might make 5,000 instead of just 500, right? And what can you do with an extra $5,000? But here's the thing that I can't wrap my head around, right? We have all of these people, doing all of these hustles. I call them hustles because they don't have no benefits. There's no guarantee that you'll get work, right? And then you make a little money, and once you get that money, are you putting aside 20% the savings for your taxes? Are you? And, you know, I had to admit, not really. No, I was not putting aside 20% of my earnings for taxes. I did not. Right? Because, you know, I was so busy, just trying to, just trying to make a profit. And it's like, how do you make a profit when, you're averaging about $5 to $10 an hour, less what it costs you in gas, right? Less what it costs you in insurance, okay? So this is something that, I've been trying to wrap my head around and see, is anybody really talking about this, right? And if they're not, why aren't they talking about it? I think it's important to let people know everything, right? I mean, especially if you're a vlogger. And I guess some people will say, well, everything is taxed, and that shouldn't be a question. Therefore, they don't even mention it. And it's like, what? A simple delivery is something that, you can kind of imagine, but you're mentioning that. Okay? So, I'm thinking they're not mentioning it because they're not doing it, right? And so, what they might do is see how much was reported and then scramble to offset the expenses with the profits, and there you have it. Now, I know, we're like, yeah, we just do what we have to do. But then, right, so does the state, right? Then the state also has to do what it has to do, or the city. Look at those pretty roses. Oh, my goodness. Ooh, those roses are so pretty. Yeah, you can see that they take really good care of them. They give them some nice food. That's one thing I haven't done for my roses lately, is feed them any different kind of fertilizer or anything. So yeah, I think I did get a little sleepy. And yesterday, I did watch a video. Come on. I did watch a video where this 67-year-old woman was talking about her affordable housing living apartment and how it was just falling apart. And she was showing us, the cracks and the leaks and mildew that that was growing in her air conditioner condensing condensing unit. And it was just like, wow. And what she had said was, on the outside, that living community looked good, but looking up close, there was foundational cracks, and there was spots where the wall had separated from the house. Yeah. So it was really sad to see. And every time I'm watching these videos and they're senior people, I start feeling some kind of way, like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be like that. And then, it goes back to, how they're on a fixed income, yada, yada, yada. Okay? And fixed income and 20 to 30% inflation. How does that work out? Right? Because even when I made my plan, I made my plan, and my mortgage was around $1,000 with the taxes, and it kind of stayed relatively stable, right? And then whenever the government decides they need more money, most of the time, they start with taxing the property. They tax the property owners first because, of the stability, right? Most of the time, these homeowners, they're not going anywhere. They can't run away from their taxes unless they sell their house, move out, whatever. Okay? And I guess that's one of the reasons why, they're so harsh about, taking over a property for not paying their taxes, right? Because they're showing them, look, you're going to pay these taxes, you know, whether you like it or not, you know. Unless you find some way, you know, to get your home tax exempt. Okay, so we're back home. Nice little walk. So, what I've been doing, I have changed my routine a little bit. But what I've been doing is I've been taking my supplements in the form of, here's the first thing I drink in the morning. I drink the Ghost, because I'm not giving up the Ghost. Then I drink the creatine. And then I also add the collagen. So I put those all together and I drink that. Usually before I have my coffee. And after reading the directions, you know, I do get extra doses of protein. Okay. And the creatine, in my opinion, was a thing that I didn't realize had so many calories. Because this creatine, it has 100 calories per serving. Okay? But I've been taking it for almost 3 weeks. And I do feel like it's helping, you know, my body firm up a little bit. At least from what I could see yesterday, you know, when I was wearing, you know, the sleeveless shirt and shorts, that, you know, my skin just wasn't, you know, real fluid and jiggling. You jiggling, baby, jiggling. So yeah. And then, you know, I'm going to drink my coffee afterwards. Sometimes, you know, when I'm feeling like doing it, I will, you know, add like a pinch of a pinch of fiber powder to my coffee. Because, you know, when you add the creamer, you know, you are adding quite a bit of calories. I did try to go with some condensed goat milk and adding that to my coffee. So that was an unusual taste that I have to acquire the taste for. And I didn't follow through. I might add a little bit of the goat milk to my coffee today. But you know, a lot of that stuff you know, you have to acquire the taste for. But sometimes, you know, when you just start something just brand new, you know, the manufacturer might not, you know, be concerned about the flavor, right? Because when you start thinking about flavoring, it's more expenses, and there's a lot of people who don't want stuff to have additives. So anyway, hold on.